First contact's price. The Helios research station hung silently in orbit around Europa, its sleek profile barely visible against the icy moon's brilliant white surface. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the latest sensor readings scrolling across her tablet. After 3 years of studying the mysterious signal patterns emanating from beneath Europa's frozen crust, she was convinced they were close to a breakthrough. Dr. Chen, you need to see this. Marcus Patel's voice crackled through her comm unit. The young physicist's tone made her stomach tighten. It was the same mix of excitement and fear she'd heard when they'd first detected the signals. Sarah hurried to the main lab, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The station's skeleton crew of 12 was already gathered around the central holographic display. The usual blue-tinted representation of Europa's subsurface ocean had been replaced by something entirely different, a massive object rising through the ice. It started moving 10 minutes ago, Marcus explained, his fingers dancing across the controls. Whatever it is, it's artificial. And it's big, at least 3 kilometers in length. Sarah watched in stunned silence as the object breached Europa's surface in a spectacular eruption of ice and vapor. As the debris cleared, they got their first real look at it, a sleek, silvery vessel that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its design was utterly alien, all curves and angles that somehow managed to look both organic and mechanical. Are we broadcasting the first contact protocols? Sarah asked, her scientific training kicking in despite her racing heart. On all frequencies, Marcus confirmed. No response yet. The alien vessel hung motionless for several long moments. Then, without warning, it accelerated toward the Helios station with impossible speed. Warning klaxons blared as the ship's defensive systems detected the approach. Multiple energy signatures detected, called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka from her security station. They're scanning us. Wait, those aren't scans. Those are weapon locks. Before anyone could react, a brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the alien ship. It didn't strike the Helios station, instead, it passed through it like sunlight through glass. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every electronic system on the station went dark. In the emergency lighting that followed, Sarah heard Marcus whisper, "They knew exactly how to disable us without destroying the station. They've studied us. They've been studying us all along." The realization hit Sarah like a physical blow. The signals they'd been investigating hadn't been coming from native life in Europa's ocean. They'd been coming from an alien observation post, watching humanity's every move. Through the observation windows, Sarah watched as more ships emerged from Europa's icy surface, dozens of them, each as large as the first. A holographic message materialized in the center of the darkened lab, projected by technology far beyond human understanding. The alien text shifted and reformed into English before their eyes. Humanity has progressed faster than anticipated. The Galactic Confederation cannot permit this anomaly to continue. Your species presents an unacceptable risk to the established order. Containment protocols are now in effect. Sarah's mind raced. The implications were staggering. This wasn't first contact, it was first capture. And based on the clinical tone of the message, humanity wasn't being welcomed into a larger galactic community. They were being classified as a threat. Dr. Chen, Marcus called out, his voice steady despite the fear evident on his face. The quantum entanglement communicator is still working. They couldn't have known about it, it's too new. We can still warn Earth. Sarah nodded, already moving toward the secured communications room. The quantum entanglement device was humanity's latest breakthrough, a prototype capable of instantaneous communication across any distance. Only 3 existed in the solar system, one here, one on Mars, and one on Earth. It was supposed to be a research tool. Now it might be humanity's only chance. As she input her emergency codes, Sarah composed a message she never thought she'd have to send. Earth Command, this is Helios Station. First contact achieved. Hostile intent confirmed. Multiple vessels emerging from Europa. Advanced technology. They've been here all along. Preparing to transmit all sensor data. Recommend immediate implementation of Protocol Omega. They're not here to talk. They're here to contain us. She hit send just as the station's hull began to resonate with an alien signal. The last thing Sarah saw before losing consciousness was a soft, purple light filling every corner of the station. The Confederation ships moved into formation, their massive forms eclipsing Jupiter itself in the station's viewport. Behind them, more vessels emerged from Europa's depths, forming an armada that would have seemed impossible hours before. Humanity's age of isolation was over. But not in the way anyone had hoped or dreamed. As Sarah's consciousness faded, her last thought was of the warning now racing toward Earth through quantum space: wake up. Fight back. Survive. The real question was, would Earth be ready in time? The Silent Fleet. Admiral James Harper stood in the depths of Cheyenne Mountain, staring at the quantum entanglement display that had just received Dr. Chen's warning. Around him, the Strategic Defense Council sat in stunned silence. The message had arrived just minutes ago, along with sensor data that confirmed their worst fears, and validated decades of secret preparation. It seems Project Shadowkeeper wasn't paranoid after all, Harper said, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing the alien fleet's positions. Activate the Silent Fleet. Authorization code: Prometheus awakens. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the Mariana Trench, something stirred. In the crushing depths of the Arctic's coldest waters, metal that had lain dormant for years came to life. Hidden in plain sight in asteroid belts and camouflaged as space debris, advanced vessels powered up their cores. Humanity had not been as defenseless as the Confederation assumed. Silent Fleet activation confirmed, reported Commander Diana Way, her fingers dancing across the quantum-locked controls. All 300 vessels reporting ready status. Stealth systems holding. The Silent Fleet was humanity's greatest secret, ships built over 2 decades using technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien vessel found in the Atacama Desert 50 years ago. While the world's attention had been focused on conventional space programs, the combined resources of Earth's major powers had been poured into this hidden initiative. Report from Mars Colony, announced Lieutenant Rodriguez. They've detected multiple Confederation vessels approaching their orbit. Colony defense systems are active, but they're drastically outgunned. Harper's jaw tightened. Deploy strike groups Alpha through Delta to Mars. The rest will defend Earth. And send the signal to activate our ground-based defenses. Across Earth, hidden installations hummed to life. What appeared to be ordinary mountains, office buildings, and ocean platforms transformed, revealing weapon systems that had been concealed in plain sight for years. Sir, Commander Way interrupted, we're detecting new signatures emerging from Europa. Their fleet, it's larger than we initially estimated. At least 1,000 capital ships. Harper nodded grimly. They're not just here to contain us. They're here to eliminate what they see as a potential rival. He turned to the council. Ladies and gentlemen, I need unanimous authorization to implement the Aurora Protocol. The council members exchanged glances. The Aurora Protocol was considered a last resort, a technological trump card that even most of the Silent Fleet's commanders didn't know existed. You have it, the council chairman declared after collecting the rapid votes. God help us all. Harper activated his neural link, another secret technology developed from the crashed ship. Silent Fleet, this is Admiral Harper. Phase 1, engage stealth approach vectors. Do not power weapons until you're within optimal range. Let them think their sensors are malfunctioning before you strike. The Silent Fleet moved with impossible grace for vessels their size. Their hulls, covered in metamaterials that bent light and absorbed energy, made them virtually invisible to conventional detection methods. They slipped through space like ghosts, taking up attack positions around Mars and Earth. Confederation fleet is launching what appears to be a first strike against Mars, reported Lieutenant Rodriguez. Impact in 3 minutes. Strike groups, you are weapons free, Harper ordered. Show them what humanity has been hiding. The space around Mars suddenly rippled as dozens of silent fleet vessels decloaked simultaneously. Their weapons were unlike anything the Confederation had encountered, hybrid systems that combined conventional physics with principles that seemed to defy natural law. The first volley from the silent fleet carved through the Confederation's shields like they didn't exist. Ships that had terrorized countless alien civilizations found themselves being systematically dismantled by weapons they couldn't detect until it was too late. Sir, Commander Wei's voice was tight with urgency, the Confederation is launching some kind of quantum communication pulse. Massive energy readings from their fleet. Harper smiled grimly. They're calling for reinforcements. Good. That's exactly what we wanted them to do. He activated a secure channel to all silent fleet commanders. All vessels, prepare to implement Aurora Protocol on my mark. Target their quantum communication arrays first. The Aurora Protocol was humanity's master stroke, a weapon system that turned the enemy's own quantum communications against them, creating a cascading feedback loop that would ripple through their entire command and control network. Confederation vessels are moving to surround Earth, reported Rodriguez. They're charging what appears to be their primary weapon systems. They still think we're primitive, Harper observed. That will be shocked and awed by their display of force. He straightened his uniform. Let's show them how humanity fights when its back is against the wall. All vessels, Aurora Protocol, execute. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength was finally revealed. The silent fleet emerged from the shadows, their weapons blazing with technologies that had been refined and improved upon for decades. The Confederation's carefully planned containment operation was about to become something else entirely, a fight for survival against an enemy they had fatally underestimated. As the battle began in earnest, Harper sent one final message to the silent fleet: remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. And most importantly, remember that humanity doesn't bow to tyrants, not on Earth, and not in the stars. The real war for humanity's future was about to begin. Breaking point. The void between Earth and Mars erupted in a display of destructive power never before witnessed in human history. The Confederation's mighty armada found itself entangled in a battle they hadn't expected against an enemy they'd gravely underestimated. Aurora Protocol reaching critical resonance, Commander Wei announced, her eyes fixed on the quantum monitoring displays. Confederation fleet's communication network is starting to destabilize. The silent fleet's attack had triggered chaos throughout the alien command structure. Their quantum communications, once thought unbreakable, were being turned into weapons against their own ships. But the Confederation wasn't a galactic power for nothing. Multiple dimensional rifts detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez shouted. They're bringing in reinforcements from other systems. Admiral Harper watched as massive tears in spacetime opened around Jupiter, disgorging hundreds of new Confederation vessels. The aliens were calling in their reserves, determined to crush humanity's resistance before it could spread. They're adapting faster than we anticipated, Harper noted grimly. Time to show them our second surprise. Activate the Lazarus units. Deep within each silent fleet vessel, quantum processors hummed to life. The Lazarus Protocol was perhaps humanity's most ambitious development, artificial intelligence systems that could adapt and evolve in real time, rewriting their own code to counter any threat they encountered. The first indication that something was different came when a Confederation dreadnought fired its main weapon at Earth. The beam, powerful enough to crack a planet's crust, struck an invisible barrier and simply vanished. Not deflected, not absorbed, the energy simply ceased to exist. Lazarus units report successful deployment of quantum nullification fields, Commander Wei reported, a hint of pride in her voice. The AIs are already learning from the Confederation's weapon signatures. Harper nodded. Launch the swarm. From hidden bases on Mars and Earth's moon, millions of tiny drones deployed. Each one was barely larger than a human hand, but they carried within them technology that defied conventional physics. The drones moved in perfect coordination, guided by the Lazarus units, forming intricate patterns that seemed to bend the fabric of space itself. The Confederation fleet found their advanced shields suddenly useless as the swarm created localized pockets of altered spacetime, where their defensive technologies simply couldn't function. Silent fleet vessels pressed the advantage, their weapons tearing through the now vulnerable alien ships. "Sir," Rodriguez interrupted, "we're detecting some kind of biological response from the Confederation vessels. Their hulls are changing." Harper leaned forward, studying the sensor data. The alien ships were adapting, their surfaces morphing into new configurations. They're not just machines, he realized. They're biomechanical. Living ships. The battle shifted again as the Confederation vessels began displaying new abilities. Tentacles of living metal extended from their hulls, trying to ensnare the smaller human vessels. Energy weapons morphed into biological equivalents, spewing corrosive particles that ate through conventional armor. But humanity had planned for this too. "Initiate Protocol Chimera," Harper ordered. "Let's show them they're not the only ones who can adapt." The silent fleet's hulls began to shimmer, nanomaterials restructuring themselves at the molecular level. The ship's surfaces became liquid metal, flowing and reshaping to counter each new Confederation attack. The Lazarus units coordinated the transformations, learning and evolving with each passing second. "Confederation fleet is pulling back," Wei reported. "They're forming some kind of new formation, wait." Her eyes widened. "Energy readings are off the scale." The alien fleet had arranged itself into a massive geometric pattern, their ships linking together to form what appeared to be a single, massive weapon. Energy began to pool between them, building to levels that threatened to tear apart the fabric of space itself. Harper's expression remained calm. "They're desperate." "Good. Execute final protocol, Prometheus Unleashed." Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum resonators activated. These devices, scattered across planets, moons, and asteroids, had been waiting for this moment. They created a web of quantum entanglement that encompassed the entire battlefield. "Sir," Rodriguez said quietly, "if we do this, we'll be revealing our full technological capabilities. The Confederation will know exactly what we're capable of." Harper's eyes hardened. "They wanted to contain us because they feared what we might become. Let's show them they were right to be afraid." The quantum web activated, creating a cascading effect that rippled through spacetime itself. The very laws of physics began to bend around the silent fleet as humanity deployed its ultimate weapon, control over the fundamental forces of the universe itself. As reality itself seemed to warp and twist, Harper sent one final message to his fleet: "All ships, execute attack pattern Omega. Show them why humanity was never meant to be contained." The battle for Earth's survival had reached its breaking point. And in the chaos that followed, the galaxy would learn why humans were the most dangerous species they'd ever encountered. The human element. Deep within the quantum chaos of battle, Commander Diana Wei made a discovery that would change the course of the war. While monitoring the Lazarus unit's adaptive algorithms, she noticed something extraordinary in the Confederation fleet's behavior patterns. "Admiral," she called out, "I'm detecting irregularities in the enemy's response times. Their ships, they're hesitating." Harper moved to her station, studying the complex data streams. The massive Confederation fleet, despite its superior numbers and biological adaptability, was showing signs of confusion. Their previously coordinated attacks had become increasingly erratic. "They've never encountered an enemy that fights like us," Harper realized. "Their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming force and technological superiority. But humanity?" He smiled grimly. "We've spent our entire history learning to fight against superior opponents. The Lazarus units had identified something else. The Confederation's neural network was experiencing emotional feedback. Their biomechanical ships weren't just changing physically, they were experiencing fear. All silent fleet commanders, Harper broadcast, implement psychological warfare protocols. Show them everything. Every trick, every desperate strategy we've ever conceived. Let's give them a lesson in human ingenuity. The silent fleet's response was beautiful in its chaos. Ships began executing maneuvers that seemed suicidal, diving through their own weapons' fire to strike at enemy weak points. The swarm drones reconfigured themselves into impossible geometric patterns that confused and disoriented the Confederation's targeting systems. They're trying to predict our strategies, Rodriguez reported, but the Lazarus units are generating new tactics faster than their AI can analyze them. The human advantage wasn't just technological, it was psychological. While the Confederation relied on perfect order and coordination, humanity's strength came from its ability to embrace chaos, to thrive in uncertainty. Commander Way's quantum displays suddenly lit up with new data. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy fluctuations within the Confederation fleet. They're ships, they're fighting each other." The alien fleet's unified consciousness was fragmenting. The emotional feedback had created a cascade effect, causing individual ships to break away from the collective. Some vessels retreated, while others attacked their own allies, their biological components overwhelmed by unfamiliar sensations of panic and confusion. "This is what they feared," Harper said softly. "Not our technology, not our weapons. They feared this, our ability to introduce chaos into their perfect order." But the battle was far from over. The Confederation's remaining loyal ships were adapting, attempting to quarantine the affected vessels. Their weapon systems began changing again, becoming more aggressive, more desperate. "They're preparing to deploy some kind of dimensional weapon," Way announced. "Energy readings suggest they're trying to fold space around our fleet." Harper's response was immediate. "Activate the Einstein protocols. Show them why humans understand the true nature of spacetime better than anyone." The silent fleet's ships suddenly began to move in ways that defied conventional physics. The Einstein protocols were based on humanity's greatest scientific breakthrough, the discovery that space and time weren't just connected, they were manipulable. Each human vessel became a nexus of warped reality, existing in multiple states simultaneously. The Confederation's dimensional weapon fired, attempting to trap the human fleet in a pocket of folded spacetime. But the silent fleet's ships simply shifted between dimensional states, turning the weapon's effect back on its users. Multiple Confederation vessels are being drawn into their own spatial distortions, Rodriguez reported. Their fleet cohesion is breaking down completely. The alien armada's perfectly coordinated formations had dissolved into chaos. Ships collided with each other as they tried to escape their own weapons' effects. The mighty Confederation, which had dominated the galaxy through perfect order and overwhelming force, was being undone by humanity's embrace of chaos and unpredictability. "Send word to the Lazarus units," Harper ordered. "Begin Phase 4, Cognitive Warfare." The AI systems embedded throughout the silent fleet began broadcasting directly into the Confederation's neural network. Not attacking it, teaching it. Showing it the full spectrum of human emotion, human creativity, human determination. The alien consciousness that linked their ships together was experiencing something entirely new, the human element. "Sir," Way's voice was filled with awe, "the Confederation's flagship, it's requesting communication." Harper straightened his uniform. On screen, the image that appeared showed something none of them had expected, a Confederation commander whose biomechanical form was shifting, changing, becoming something new. Something more, human. "What have you done to us?" the alien asked, its voice a mixture of fear and fascination. Harper's response was simple: "We've shown you what it means to be human. The question is, are you ready to learn?" The battle had revealed humanity's greatest weapon, not their technology, not their adaptability, but their fundamental nature as beings who had evolved to thrive in chaos and uncertainty. The galaxy would never be the same. Evolution's child. The quantum displays in Cheyenne Mountain flickered with unprecedented readings as the Confederation flagship continued its transformation. What had begun as a military confrontation was becoming something far more profound. "Admiral," the transformed Confederation commander spoke, its form still shifting between states of being, "our databases are correlating new information. Your species, you're not what we thought you were." Harper watched as data streamed across his neural interface, ancient records from the Confederation's deepest archives, now being shared freely as the alien consciousness evolved. What he saw changed everything. "We were wrong about your origins," the commander continued. "You weren't meant to be contained. You were meant to be awakened." Commander Wei's voice cut through the silence. "Sir, I'm detecting massive quantum signature changes throughout the Confederation fleet. Their entire neural network is evolving." The truth began to unfold across multiple dimensions of spacetime. Humanity wasn't just another species that had developed too quickly. They were the end result of an experiment begun millions of years ago by a faction of the Confederation itself, a group that had foreseen the galaxy's stagnation and planted the seeds of change. The crashed ship in the Atacama, Harper realized. It wasn't an accident. It was a gift. "A key," the Confederation commander corrected. "One of many left throughout your history. We watched as you found each one, as you decoded the secrets hidden within your own DNA. The technology you developed, your silent fleet, your Lazarus units, all of it was built upon foundations we left for you to find." But the revelation sparked a new crisis. Throughout the Confederation fleet, ships began to divide into factions. Some embraced the change, allowing the human influence to transform them. Others, bound by ancient protocols and fear, prepared to make a final, desperate attempt to stop what was happening. "Multiple ships charging dimensional weapons," Rodriguez reported. "They're targeting Earth itself." Harper's response was immediate. "All silent fleet vessels, execute final communion protocol." This was humanity's ultimate weapon, the true purpose of the quantum web they'd created. The silent fleet's ships linked together, not just physically or electronically, but consciousness to consciousness. Human minds merged with their AI systems, creating a hybrid network that reached out to embrace both their allies and enemies. The effect rippled through spacetime itself. Ships that had been preparing to attack suddenly found themselves experiencing the full depth of human consciousness, every emotion, every dream, every moment of triumph and despair that had shaped humanity's evolution. The ancient ones were right, the transformed commander broadcasted to all ships. Evolution cannot be contained. It must be embraced. Throughout the solar system, Confederation ships began to change. Their biomechanical forms shifted, guided by the new understanding flowing through their neural networks. They weren't becoming human, they were becoming something new, something that combined the best aspects of both species. "Admiral," Wei called out, her voice filled with wonder, "the quantum readings, they're stabilizing. The entire fleet is achieving harmonic resonance." Harper watched as the battle transformed into something else entirely, a massive, coordinated dance of ships moving in perfect synchronization, each one a hybrid of human chaos and Confederation order. The very fabric of space seemed to sing with the harmony of it. "We understand now," the commander's voice had changed, becoming a chorus of countless minds speaking as one. This was never about containment or conquest. It was about transformation. Humanity wasn't a threat to be eliminated, you were the catalyst needed to break the cycle of stagnation. The silent fleet began to power down its weapons as the truth became clear. The crashed ship, the hidden technologies, the quantum discoveries, all of it had been part of a plan set in motion eons ago. Humanity hadn't just developed these technologies. They had been guided to rediscover what was already hidden within their own genetic code. "What happens now?" Harper asked, though he already sensed the answer through the quantum link. Now, the chorus replied, we evolve together. The galaxy needs what humanity has always had, the ability to embrace chaos, to find new paths, to never stop questioning and growing. You are evolution's child, and it's time for the rest of us to learn from you. Across Earth, Mars, and beyond, humans and aliens alike felt the change beginning. The quantum web that had been created for war now served as a bridge between species, between minds, between different ways of understanding reality itself. In the depths of Cheyenne Mountain, Admiral Harper sent one final message to all of humanity. For centuries, we looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. Today, we learned that we were never alone, we were waiting. Not just for first contact, but for the moment when we could help the galaxy remember how to evolve. The war was over. The transformation had begun. And humanity, the species that had been marked for containment, had instead become the key to unlocking the galaxy's next great evolutionary leap. In the vast darkness of space, ships that had been enemies moments before now moved together in an eternal dance, their forms shifting between states of being as they explored what they could become together. The age of isolation was over. The age of evolution had begun.